Nice little cars. The Austin 1300 GT. The very rare SAAB Sonett V4. Love the little Alvis 1250. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't let me down. Diesel Volvo clattering its way behind, so we'll just nip over here out of the way. Proper oily ragger. Can't imagine why I like this one. That is the bee's knees, yeah, 3.4 litre. That silver car over there, I'm not quite sure what it is, but the final Bicester Scramble of 2023. Well, morning all, welcome to the Old Classic Car channel, and today we are back down at Bicester for Bicester Scramble October 2023, the last Bicester Scramble of this year, and it's going to promise a lot. I think the weather is looking fantastic. We came down in a trusty little Mazda MX-5 and we ended up parking here on the forward parking area. I'm not quite sure how we ended up here, but we were waved through, so we weren't going to argue that one. But I've been requested that before we have a walk around here, which is the interesting public parking area, we're going to have a look over there, over yonder in the hangar where the big autojumble sign is, because Holly's on the lookout for more bits and bobs to go in Ned the Shed. No, I didn't know there was going to be an autojumble here either, so yeah, there's some beautiful cars here already, all significantly cleaner than our MX-5, but never mind, including, wow, look at the shiny M3 BMW there, fantastic. Anyway, first things first, let's go and have a look in the autojumble. There's always quite a scattering of supercars here as well down at Bicester. Obviously, as this is the Old Classic Car channel, we will be prioritising the older cars, but we'll just have a quick look just to give an overall view, an overall picture of this fantastic meeting. But the lure of the rusty oil can is too much. Let's go inside and see if we can find anything for Ned the Shed.
You're just completely ignoring the fact you might buy something.
Yeah, well, hopefully I won't buy anything. Last time I came here, there was a Renault 4CV pedal car, wasn't there? Do you remember?
Still there.
It's probably still there. Yeah. But no, I'm going to be strong today. Many, many things.
All a bit new.
Well, yeah, some's new, some is old.
Quite fancy, yeah.
Possibles. Well, predictably enough, this is the second stall. And what have we bought? Right. So we've got a Castrol XXL, a nice Castrol script tin, and the Duckham's NOL, which is this one here, which is that's a bit of a cracker, that, isn't it? Specifically by, that's recommended, officially specified by Austin, Ford, Jowett, MG Morris, Riley, Standard Triumph, and Wolseley.
Just like the early script.
Yeah, that's a proper looking old can, that is. And then you've got the Castrol as well.
I've got a slightly smaller script.
Yeah. Let's give a heads up to the gentleman we bought them off. There we go, he's the man. Right, I think we'll have to go and put those back in the car, and then we will resume.
We always do these things first.
We do, yes, so we'll go and resume operations. Beautiful Alvis 1250, followed by Ford Model A, so after what, about 1930-ish.
Two people in a dicky suit, I've never seen that before.
Back to the car we go, deposit the tins, and then we can start to have a proper little walk around here today. Right, so this is the forward public parking area, so let's have a quick scoot round here and just see what gems we can spot. There's going to be a mix of classic and later sports cars as well. Interesting cars, saloons, and look at this very fruity looking Morris or Austin Mini Cooper. So it's a little bit later than that, isn't it? So it's probably Rover Group era, but it's been retrofied with the old Britax Cooper sponsorship and Downton engineering. Downton was a tuning firm well known back in the 1960s, run by Daniel Richmond. Very much a sort of contemporary of people like John Cooper and the like, who was better known, but they both did some fascinating tuned up parts. So this is on an H registration. It's badged up as a Cooper S Mark II. Although it looks like if it is a Cooper S Mark II, it's been reshelled because it hasn't got the slidey windows, but whatever, it's a great looking little Mini. There's going to be lots and lots of cars here today. We probably won't be able to cover them all. We've got a somewhat modified MGB Roadster here with a grille, an egg crate grille, a bit like that of sort of 1950 Ferrari. So we'll just have a quick scoot round and just see what gems we can see. A few cars here, but it doesn't make it into the video. I apologise in advance because it's such a huge event and cars come and go a little bit during the day. So I wanted to have a quick look round here while the cars are mostly already parked up, because some start disappearing after lunch. MGB GT on a K, E30 Cabriolet, a 3 Series BMW, lovely early headlamps behind the grille, Series 1 Land Rover. Everywhere you look, there are just brilliant old cars. Got a Porsche 944, Porsche 911, left-hand drive. E36 series of the BMW 3 Series, the much modified B, larger diameter wheels, louvered bonnet, looking very purposeful on those big wheels and tyres. It's on a V, so it would have been a rubber bumper car originally. The good old VW Beetle here, it's 1971, the Triumph Stag, airing its 3 litre V8 engine. There's an exhaust for sale there if you need an exhaust. And this has the Rover 3.5 litre engine instead of the 3 litre Triumph engine. So this was quite a common conversion back in the day, but a lot of them have been converted back to the original Triumph engine. So it's actually interesting to see one that is still with its Rover engine. So that's quite novel. The soft top is half folded, half raised. Period wolf race alloy wheels as well. Yeah. Very sharp looking car, and look at this, a Jensen 541. What a stunning looking car that is, the Jensen 541, and handily there is an information sheet in the window which tells us this is car number 24 of what was a fairly limited production run already. So we'll have a quick look at that. These are quite novel because they've got this rotating air intake, so you can blank it off to get the temperature up on the engine, then it'll open up when you need the extra cooling. So yeah, these are really nice cars. So let's have a quick look at the information sheet in the window. So registration TPX212 1955, very early 541, chassis 24 out of a total of 173 of this type. So there we go, there's a bit of the history, and there it is racing at Silverstone in 1958. Just pause the video if you wanted to have a read of that information sheet, but yeah, what a beautiful looking car that is. That is one sharp looking GT. There it is doing battle with, what's that, a Riley 1.5 and an Austin A30 or a 35. What a stunning car that is. Right, let's carry on. Got a Porsche 924 alongside that. A Cobra replica here, looking very purposeful, based on the 427. A Porsche 911 Targa. A Toyota rally car. What do we have along here next to the bright red Porsche? A 124 Series Mercedes Coupe on the G plate. We saw these parked up at Warwick Services on the M40 on the way down here. A lovely left-hand drive Porsche here on the K plate 1971. Very sharp looking little car that is. We've got a Toyota Celica, fantastic BMW M5, one of the E28 series BMW M5s. Really, really like those a lot. There's a Rolls-Royce Shadow 2. Another amazing Series 1 Land Rover. Ex-Australian 1950 80-inch. How amazing is that? It's great to see it in its original condition. The original paint bleached by the New South Wales sun for all those years. What a fantastic thing. So for sale, just a smidge under £30,000, and this could be yours. Definitely a proper oily ragger.
Just fits. This is the one you were on about, Chris? Wasn't it? Was it this one? No, it had a flavour. It's blue as well. Oh, I didn't pay enough to you.
Next to that stunning old Land Rover is a fantastic 1965 Herald 1200 convertible. Very nice little cars. So I'm assuming it's a 1200, because early cars were 948, which was the engine out of the standard 10. Yep, Herald 1200. So that would have the single carb 1147cc engine, which of course was a later incarnation of the engine that started out in the standard 8 in the early 1950s. Nice colour as well. And on the end here, great little 67 split window VW. And heading up row 2 is this. Now what is this? I'm left scratching my head a little bit on this one. Fortunately today I brought along my 1961 copy of I Spy Sports Cars, and that should get me out of trouble, because if I go to this page here, we have the answer. This is the Daimler 250 SP, or SP 250 as it's more often referred to. So this is an unusual sports car which came out before Jaguar bought up the old Daimler company. It had a V8 engine designed by a famous racing motorcycle engineer, Edward Turner, and the body is made of glass fibre. I spy the very low grille right at the nose, the Daimler flutes along its top surface, the prominent tail fins and nose down attitude of the car. Notice that the bonnet lid has a rounded forward edge and the doors extend slightly forward of the windscreen line. So let's have a quick look at that then. Indeed it does, the door comes quite a long way forward, and yes, the body is fiberglass. Pretty wild looking car for a Daimler. And here we go, and so I can tick this one off, and for that I get a score in my I Spy Sports Cars book of 25. I wonder how many of these I could fill out today during the course of this walk around here at Bicester Heritage for the Scramble in October 2023. But what a great looking car that is. Whew, I'm really glad I brought this with me now. That really got me out of trouble. Right, let's carry on down here. Now we've got a much modified MG here. I'm guessing MGC, if that bonnet is anything to go by. There's a GT40 rep. I assume it's a replica. With a full Gulf livery. Okay, so right, back to the MG, the MGC. Many modifications on this one. Illuminated racing number on the door there. The old boot lamp there. The old number plate light there, the Lucas lamp. Yeah, that looks pretty purposeful. What a fantastic day. The weather's promising to be really good today. Got a lovely little Alfa here, probably early 1970s I would have thought. The GTV is a 2000 GTV, this one. The MX-5 Mark 1, we are not alone. This one is significantly shinier than ours. Appears to be something different under the bonnet here. What have we got here? That's a Jaguar engine, is that a V6? Heavens. We've got a Merlin kit car here. MGB GT, I think this one followed us in pretty much this morning. And slammed to the floor. There's this fantastic VW Splitty pickup. You see quite a few campers, but not so many of these all steel pickups like this. Of course they are compromised a little bit because they've got such a high load floor, because you've got the engine in the back still. So actually, this is actually quite raised up, it's surprising. But you have got lockers in the side, so at least you can store stuff in there underneath the floor. Because obviously the engine only takes up the underfloor area right at the back here. Yeah, what a rare old girl that is. Next up, a little 356. I'm guessing this is probably a replica of the Porsche 356 Coupe. Very smart little number, this one. There's just cars everywhere. They just go way off into the distance over there. So we'll try and cover everything between us, but whether we'll manage it is anyone's guess. There's the old Fairway taxi. Land Rover there on the P registration, so that'll be a Series 3. A gaggle of Beetles here, varying ages. This is a 6-volter, quite low. Slopey headlights tell us that that's one of the earlier cars, and it's still got the old pop-up semaphore indicators as well. An even more modified one alongside that. Oh yeah, that's low. I assume it's on air suspension, because otherwise it won't be getting off this field anytime soon. Lotus Elan Plus 2. Very, very nice indeed. Little knock-on wheels on these. Slightly longer than your regular Elans. A bit more legroom. Not sure if we can see inside or not. Right. This is another one we saw in Warwick services, the Mercedes SL, the 107 series, and a gorgeous BMW E9 Coupe. I think this is a 3-litre CSI. Again, this is a car that was very close to us as we drove in about half an hour ago now. Beautiful, I do like these. You know, there aren't many 1970s cars that really float my boat, but this is definitely one of them. These are just beautiful E9s, I think. Wonderful, wonderful car. Some proper Alpine alloy wheels. 3-litre straight 6, lovely pillarless design as well, a bit like the XJ Coupe, very similar in inspiration to that particular car. Manual gearbox, beautiful wood rim, steering wheel as well. Yeah, that's a very swish car. Sliding steel sunroof as well. I wonder if that was an option. Yeah. What a handsome machine that is. Next to that, a super original early Range Rover on a K-plate. This is another one that we saw as we're heading in this morning. There was a bit of a queue to get in today, so it gave us a chance to have a look at all the cars around us, and this was just in front of us as we drove through Bicester itself. Look at that, how original is that? Proper old number plate as well, of which we of course we approve because we like that kind of thing. 2-door, because the early Ranges were all 2 doors. The 4 doors came quite a long way into production, I think. It's even got a December 72 tax disc in the window. Next to this BGT, we've got a bit of a rarity here, the Austin 1300 GT, one of the sporty versions of the ADO 16 range. Of course you had the 1100s and the 1300s and so on, but this is a sporty one, a bit like a Mini Cooper really, for the family man or woman back in the 1970s. Such a rare survivor now. These wheel trims were unique to the 1300 GTs, but sadly most of these have rotted away by now. Look at that groovy, very, very 1970s vinyl roof. I think that was probably a standard fitment on the GT. They had quite a nice dash in these, many gauges, and a lovely steering wheel as well. So yeah, so if you wanted a Mini Cooper or Cooper S, but you needed a little bit more space and 4 doors, then this was the car for you, the Austin 1300 GT. So nice to see that one here. But oh, what a treat to see all these cars here. We've only just scratched the surface. I don't think we need to see this one. Another wonderful Range Rover here. The gentleman who owns this was polishing it before just to put me to even more shame, given how grubby our car is today. A Lotus, a mighty Aston Martin V8 on an M registration, early 1970s. Honda NSX. Great little Fiat 600 here, RDV 96G. There's a Stingray just manoeuvring over there. But back to rear-engined Italian cars. And there's some great little Fiat here. Oh, it's the 850. I tell a lie. It's the Fiat 850. What a neat little rare car that is. And alongside that, the Fiat 500, of course. Here's a rare one, 3 Series BMW on a W plate. It's an Alpina tuned 3 Series. This was the E21 BMW 3 Series, this particular car. And again, like the coupe we saw before, on the proper Alpina alloy wheels. 3 Series alongside that. That's an E30. So the E30 replaced the E21. Another classic Ranger here. There's a few of those here today. Triumph Stag in blue, Triumph TR6. Enjoying this autumnal sunshine, I imagine. Got a replica of a 250 California Ferrari. The beautiful step nose Alfa, the 105 Series Alfa Romeo. That's on an F plate, so about 1968, late 67, early 1968, something like that. Just what a beautifully elegant car that is. Let's keep going up here, past the Min, another Porsche, and a Mercedes saloon of the early 1970s. A bay window, VW camper of course there. And what's this badge here? Automobile Club, Southern California. Yeah, it's left-hand drive, fairly large bumpers on there. Those are like very comfy seats. I wonder if those are out of a Porsche. Fantastic. Golf GTI Mark 1. I'll try and cover as many cars as we can. The MGB Roadster on a B, so that's a 64. So that's one of the pull handle cars. So whereas this handle pulls out, it wasn't long before they put a fixed handle with just a little push-in button at the end for safety reasons, because I think they thought that these could probably catch pedestrians if they got a bit too close, or cyclists, that kind of thing. So yes, that's a fairly early Roadster. The Vauxhall Viva HC, the XJS Cabriolet, and a Ferrari, one of the 400 series Ferraris, front-engine V12 Ferrari. Now, is it manual or is it auto? You could get both. I think most were probably auto, because these are a bit of a GT really, they weren't a sports car. Yeah, it's an auto, this one. So what is it, a 400i or 412? I'm not too well up on my V12 Ferraris. It's a 400i automatic. But a very sharp looking car. For a long time these were sort of overlooked a little bit in Ferrari circles because they weren't as exciting as the race bred sort of 250 GTs and so on, but these have actually got a bit of a following of their own now. And while no V12 Ferrari is cheap, this is probably the most accessible way in to a front-engine classic V12 Ferrari. A very sharp-looking 70s design, I think. Pininfarina badging down there. Very nice. Great old Talbot camper by complete contrast. Bit of everything here today. That's really good to see. Another very fruity MG. That's a great looking car. I think Harley's going to like that one. An M3 BMW. That's an E28 5 Series BM with a very distinctive paint job. I'm not quite sure what the inspiration for that vinyl wrap is, but it's certainly eye-catching. MX5 Citroen 2CV Bamboo. The Austin Healey 3000, the Mark III on a 64 registration.
All right. How's he doing?
With a very sharp Mark 1 Golf GTI. Porsche, a couple more Golfs, and on the end here, a Maserati from the 1980s. Well, this is just early 1990s, isn't it? But yeah. And on the end, another VW camper, this one from 1984-ish. I'll carry on past here, past the Maseratis that are bi-turbo, not quite sure, usually badged up as something or other. There are various different cars available at this point in time, and I remember these because they have quite an interesting little analogue looking clock right in the middle of the dash. At the time these were current, I used to work in the centre of Manchester and there was a Maserati dealer just down the road, so I used to pop in there quite regularly and go and catch some brochures, which are still here in the office at OCC HQ. Another beautiful Merc here, one of the R107 series Mercedes SLs, that's quite a late one. Bright yellow MGB, of course we approve of that bright yellow colour. XJS convertible, very, very nice indeed, and quite an early XJS here. Early XJS Coupe V12. It's got the Kent alloy wheels. Those are sometimes fitted to the XJ saloons as well. That's quite an early car. A very, very early XJ you could buy with a manual gearbox, because Jaguar still had some of the manual gearboxes left over from Series 3 type production. But before too long, these were sold purely as automatics. Right, let's carry on past the Renault Espace. Classic MPV. So we saw a 3-litre CSI before, the fuel-injected 3-litre car, and this is the CSL. L for lightweight. And that's in, now, what colour is that? I know there's a colour called Fjord Blue, which is very, very similar to that, so I think that is probably Fjord Blue, but I could be wrong. Again, lovely Alpina alloy wheels. Various lightweight panels and so on for these cars. Designed very much with sports car racing in mind. Again, super handsome car. Very, very nice indeed. Next to that, a BMW 2002 Cabriolet. Now that's a rare old girl. Just see a couple of biplanes flying over. We'll see if we get a better shot of those when they get a bit closer. Yeah, that's a rare car as well. So many cars I haven't seen before. That's the joy of coming to these events that are just a little bit further afield from our base up in the northwest. Yeah, two really rare old BMWs. We've got a DB6 Aston alongside. Porsche 911, Mark II Escort. It's Mexico. MGB, the MGB Roadster there. E33 series Cabriolet. Let's keep going down here, see what other old cars we can spot. Another great MG there, Porsche. And a stunning pale blue Triumph TR4. Lovely, lovely car. So that'll have the solid rear axle suspension on these. The 4A introduced the independent rear end. This is a solid axle car. 4-cylinder engine, of course. A lovely car that, isn't it? It's got the Surrey roof as well with a lift-out roof panel. So you've got the best of both worlds. You've got a hard top, but if you've got a day like this, you can lift that roof panel off, pop it behind the seats, and off you go. You've got yourself a convertible. Oh, lovely, lovely car. And probably my favourite colour for those as well. Right, Lotus Esprit here. A little Caterham 7. The gaggle of Porsches. And let's see what else we've got along here. Oh, it's an Alfa Romeo Spider. 94 in a very unusual sort of creamy beige colour, and a good old Rover 3.5 litre, the P5P Saloon. This was one of the cars that we considered recently when looking for a comfy cruiser. These are fantastic cars, these are. I used to run one of these several years ago. Very, very comfy indeed. A big woofly 3.5 litre Rover engine under that bonnet. Very, very comfy cars indeed. You had the choice of the saloon or the coupe, which was also a 4-door car, but with just a lower roof line and sort of individual rear seats and a few extra gauges the coupe had as well. And in the centre, just below the parcel shelf over there, is a pull-out toolkit. Yeah, that's really cool. One of the cars we were looking at recently has actually been converted to a manual gearbox, which I thought might be quite good fun. Probably transform the driving experience, but in the end we didn't decide to go for that. But certainly an interesting car. TR6 here. Don't want to get in anyone's photographs. Triumph TR5. Of course, that was the forerunner of the TR6, both with a 2.5 fuel injected engine. Sunbeam, is this an Alpine? Or is it the Tiger? It's the Tiger. 260, I think, 260 cubic inch V8 engine hiding away under that bonnet. Yeah, lovely, lovely cars. Series 1 E-Type Roadster, Triumph Vitesse in our favourite colour. That's a Mark II 2 litre Triumph Vitesse. Very, very nice indeed, with a Rotoflex rear suspension to try and tame the slightly wayward handling of the Heralds and the earlier Vitesses. And the TR6 there, gorgeous Bentley over here. That's a Bentley Mark VI Freestone and Webb coachwork. So it's slightly different than the cars you usually see. A Mark II, Mark II Golf, Mark I Golf. A variety of classic cars along here, XJS, with the 124 Series Merc. Triumph Spitfire Mark IV. It's got the 1296cc engine. The Austin Healey 3000 Mark III, so this by this point in time they had the wind-up door windows. The earlier big Healeys still had the removable side screens. Oh, lovely car. These make a glorious sound. A big 3 litre straight six. These were rallied back in the day. They had the works prepared, big Healeys, with the exhaust sticking out under the doors. Really fantastic looking and fantastic sounding cars. A stunning Bristol here. A 205 GTI, I think that's a 1.6, and a Jensen Healey. Now that's a car you don't see too often. A Jensen Healey, powered by Lotus, if I remember right. Very distinctive alloy wheels on these cars. You don't see too many of those around now. They also did like a shooting brake version of those as well, which are even rarer. TR7 drop head coupe. That's a fairly late example, because initially the TR7, when it came out, they were all just the fixed head versions. There wasn't a convertible version of the TR7 for several years, and then towards the end of production they did actually introduce one, but you can thank the American safety regulations of the day for that one. Another E-Type, Series 2, another glorious E28 series from 1984. A Porsche, an Escort Estate, a Mark III Escort Estate on an A registration. The Silver Shadow 2. A big American, very, very big American Ford there. Good grief, that's a whopper. Hiding in the shadow of the mighty Ford is this beautiful little Alfa GTV, GT Veloce. And a cracking Alfa Saloon, a Berliner, on the end here, 1967. What a great pair of classic Alfas. These saloons, I think, are just fantastic little cars. Who remembers those being driven by the policeman in the original Italian Job film? chasing those hoods in the Mini Cooper S's. But yeah, Alfa Romeo Giulia 1300 Ti. What a beautiful pair they are. 2000 GTV and the Giulia Ti. Which would you go for? A Citroen BX Athena limited edition. It's good to see that here today. What do we have here? Yeah, let's have a closer look at this Citroen BX. I had one of these as a sort of company pool car. The very first company that I worked for after leaving school, and it was a diesel one. It was a choice of one of these or a Ford Sierra. But the diesel BX had way more poke in it than the sort of slightly wheezy Sierra. Very swish indeed. Yeah, beautifully turned out car that is. And the good old Morris Minor. Oh, it would be a classic car show if you didn't have a Morris Minor here somewhere. There's a lovely four-door car. Is it me, or are there more two-door Moggy Minors around nowadays? This one's from 1965, so mid-1960s example. Got the 1098 A series engine under that bonnet. Yeah, always good to see a Moggy. Datsun Z, is that a 240Z or a 260Z? Very nice looking machine. And the Ferrari there, Testarossa. Now, what's this one here? Very, very nice indeed. SMB 136H. Beautiful. V12 Ferrari there. What a great looking bit of kit that is. Yeah, 512 TR. Really, really wide. Very, very 1980s. Whereas this is much more 1960s in era. Very, very nice indeed. And the last of the air-cooled Porsches here, 911 Carrera, BMW 2002. It's an automatic 2002, 1.6 GTI Golf, Peugeot 205, another XJS Cabriolet, Series 1 E-Type fixed head coupe. That's on a 4.2, so it's a slightly later car than the very first cars, which were 3.8. That's on a 1967 registration. Ooh, and the Volvo Amazon, the 123 GT, the fastest one of all. I mean, the 122S was also twin carb, as were these, but these had a revised camshaft in them. A few extra mods just to make them a little bit quicker than your regular 122S's. They've got a special steering wheel and also a tacho, the rev counter on top of the dash, which hopefully we can just about see. Yeah, lovely steering wheels. You can probably just about see the tacho on top of the dashboard panel there. Yeah. Nice car, two-door. That's another car we considered as well for the replacement for the Minor and the Anglia recently. But I've had a few Amazons in the past, so I wasn't really sure about going back to one of those. So we decided to go for something different instead. But yeah, here today at the Bicester Scramble, there are so many interesting cars. Cars everywhere you look. There's a little Audi here, slammed Audi. Pretty bonkers looking Merc Coupe with a Rover P5B saloon. BMW wagon, and back we are again with the Sunbeam Tiger, the TR5 and the Triumph TR6. There's the old control tower here at Bicester, at the former Bicester Airfield. Well, I think it is still actually an operational airfield, but the former RAF airfield of World War II. My grandfather was based here for a time in the late 30s, early 1940s sort of era. And this is the location for Bicester Heritage, if you've not seen any of the previous videos before. Many of the original old wartime buildings have been repurposed for events like this, and when we go over around the corner over to the other buildings over the way there, we'll see So many of the old buildings that have been repurposed, and in them are loads of different businesses relating to the vintage and the classic car world. You've got car sales, you've got car restoration, car tuning, modifications, trim shops, everything you can imagine in this one centre. It's been set up and designed to reuse this historic location for the purpose of vehicle preservation, training up future generations of car restorers and much, much more. So it's well worth having a look at the Bicester Heritage website if you haven't seen any of the previous videos we've done here or haven't heard about Bicester Heritage itself. So it's definitely well worth having a quick search on Google, but only once you've finished watching this video here at this particular Bicester Scramble meeting. But it's a fantastic place, oozing with atmosphere. And like I say, a little bit later we'll go around the corner and just have a look at some of the wonderful old buildings and the cars parked up around them, because it's it's a really historic site, and it's so great that a use has been found for this former airfield, because so many airfields have been concreted over, built over now. So it's a real treat that this one is being reused in this way in 2023. Everywhere you look there are reminders that this was a wartime airfield. Got a bunker down here, gated up now. We've come over to this other parking area, so I think we'll have a quick scoot round here and just see what gems we can see. There are cars everywhere, and like I say, we probably can't feature everything, but I definitely want to feature this wonderful Citroen DS. Loads of classic cars, modern classics, retro cars, cars of the 80s and 90s, mixing it with the cars of the 50s, 60s and 70s. Got one of the big 126 series Mercedes coupes. I love the little Mini Clubman Estate. Series 1, 1966 E-Type 2+2. These are the ones with a higher roofline, longer wheelbase, longer doors and token rear seats. So the E-Type for the family man or woman. Right, Porsche Triumph Stag, pretty groovy Pontiac Firebird. Oh, I do like those. Mini. Slightly earlier 5 Series BMW, a 535i. The other ones we saw were E28s, but this is the E12 Series BMW 5 Series. Very sharp it is too. That one Cortina 4-door, somewhat modified, a bit lower. MGA 1966 Jaguar Mark II. What's that, a 3.4 litre? Oh, very nice indeed. 750iL BMW, I think. Although those wider kidneys on the grille towards the end of production, they did also feature on the V8 cars, but most of the ones with the bigger grills were the V12s. Porsche. Let's keep going along here. Great little Escort there, alongside an estate version of the 3 Series Mercedes SL, one of the Pagoda roof SLs. Bay window Volkswagen. E21 BMW 3 Series. Alpine alloy wheels again. We've seen a few of those here today, haven't we? By gum. And what's this? A Turner? I think these, I can't remember if these are BMC powered or Ford powered, but either way, it's a Turner. Quite rare. This was a contemporary and a rival to things like the Austin Healey Sprites, that kind of thing. Lightweight cars. I think they're fiberglass bodied. Yeah, there's an alternative to the Frog Eye Sprite. That's a really neat little car. I like that. Next to that, another Turner. Good heavens. You don't see one for ages, and 2 come along at once. But yeah, what a treat to see these 2. Like I say, we've been to a couple of scrambles earlier this year as well, so if you haven't seen the videos for those, please check them out, because there'll be a totally different array of cars at those particular meetings. There was a scramble earlier in the year, one middle of the year, and there was also the Bicester Flywheel meeting as well. And that was really good too as well. Very different event. They were actually using where we're walking on now. This was part of the demonstration track that was used at the Flywheel meeting, where you saw lots and lots of old cars being demonstrated throughout the day. But this is a static vehicle display, and it's it looks like there's going to be a really good turnout. There's cars still pouring in. An electric fan whirring away on this Morgan. Triumph TR3A. The Mark 1 Ford Fiesta. It's one of the early flat rad Morgans there, just being unloaded from a vehicle transporter. What's this slinky little number here? Looks, well, it reminds me of a Lotus 11, so I'm guessing it's probably a Westfield 11. Yeah. Westfield did a recreation of the original Lotus 11s. Pretty groovy. There's a Cobra replica alongside that, and a beautiful little Morris Minor convertible. Yeah, very nice indeed. Sort of old English white with the red soft top. Very, very trim indeed. Very modified MGA. Look at the height of that windscreen, much lower than the regular factory MGA. And clearly many things going on there. We've got the Sunbeam Alpine here, so that's a 1725cc car. The Roots is alternative to the MGB, and of course the understudy to the Tiger that we saw a few moments ago. Yeah, lovely little car. Rangy. Triumph Stag, this one with the original 3 litre V8 in it, unlike the other car we saw before, which had been converted to Rover power. And then, no, but the other one up there was the one I was looking at before.
Oh, that's standard.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Oh, it's got a Weber on it.
Very nice too. And here, alongside the lovely Stag, we've got a Citroen Visa. Look at that, Visa 14 TRS. Another E-Type fixed head with a 4.2 litre engine. Got Audi 80 here, I think the Audi 80 Quattro, no less, four-wheel drive. Daimler 66, Daimler version of the XJ Series 3. Landy equipped for everything. Okay, right, Porsche 914. Yeah. The Moggy 4-door. This one on an F. Late 67, beginning of 1968 is the date of this one. Got a Fiat 124 Spider. MGB Roadster, rivals of the day, the MG Midget, another Stag cooling its engine, the original engine in that one as well, VW Jetta, Citroen CX. These are pretty groovy as well, I like these. I'm not saying I want to own one, but I think they're fantastic cars. Stereo built in there, facing up, so you can just drop all your crumbs and sandwiches inside your stereo cassette player. So that's a DTR Turbo 2. Toyota Supra. Quite a few Porsche 944s here today actually. It's a really good turnout of Porsches. A lovely TVR 3000M. Oh, look at that. An Aston DB24 SCY 111. Isn't that a handsome machine? A proper gentleman's carriage of the 1950s. Beautiful, beautiful car. One of our favourite Aston Martins of all. Tickford coachwork. Yeah, that's a handsome son of a gun. .320 BMW alongside that, and a 318i. So this is the earlier E21. You can see the different styling. Early E21 and the replacement E30. This is a fairly early E30. They changed the rear lights and things on the slightly later versions of this model, but you can see the progression from one to the other. Alpha 2000 GTV, a Porsche 911 Targa, or Cabriolet rather. MGB GT, a Toyota Celica, TR6 with hardtop, whereas that TR we saw earlier on had the Surrey roof with a lift-out panel. This is a full fixed steel hardtop. I do like the old BL sticker in the back window. Nice little detail. TR3A. I can tell that's a TR3A because it's got the outer door handles. The TR3 didn't have that. And when you get around the front, it's a slightly wider grille as well on the 3A. The TR250, this was the American market version of the Triumph TR5 that we had. The UK cars were fuel injected. The American export cars were on Stromberg carburetors, so they were slightly lower power output. But in many ways, this is probably easier to keep running than the TR5 with a slightly finicky Lucas fuel injection, which was shared on the TR6. So if I was going to get one of these, I would get the TR250 on carbs, I think. It's a very tunable engine, so it'd be quite easy, I think, to tune it up to the same power level as the fuel injected cars. But living with carburetors, I think, would probably be a lot easier than living with fuel injection, so this would be the car I would go for. Plus, being an import, it would have been left-hand drive originally, but this one's been converted to right-hand drive. But chances are, if it's an ex-California car or something like that, there's going to be much less rust in the body compared to a car that's spent all its winters here in the UK. So the TR250 from America is the one I would go for. Continue our walk around the airfield here, graced today by the likes of E-Type, Capri 280 Brooklands, one of the last of the line Ford Capris, the Mark 1 MX-5 or possibly the UNOS import, MGB Roadster and the GT, one of the MGB GT LEs, the limited edition, very late, almost last of production pretty much, MGBs. Beautiful 240Z. Big straight six engine under that particular bonnet. Lovely looking car. Another one here. Oh, a pair. Quite a few of these E28 5 Series BMWs are popping up at shows now. Not another pair of Z cars. Good grief. And what do we have here? Glistening in green. Alfa Romeo. Is this one of the Alfa Sud Sprints? Let's have a look at the back. That's usually the giveaway. If in doubt, look for a badge. Alfa Sud Sprint. Yep, Sprint Veloce 1.5. Real treat to see these really unusual cars that you hardly ever see nowadays. Another Datsun here, 280Z. There's a little powered motor glider just going up into the sky over there. A Chevrolet Camaro. A Rolls Royce here. It's a Silver Cloud. Is that the 3 with the 4 headlamps? I know quite a few Rolls experts watch these videos, so someone will correct me, I'm sure. Got an XJRS, the TWR prepared XJRS. Alfa GTV, the Lotus Elan Sprint, one of the fixed head coupe cars, the Land Rover Series 3. Next to the Healy we've got a Dolly Sprint, the 16 valve Triumph Dolomite Sprint. The B, another Land Rover. This is a Series 2 or a 2A, Devon registration, TT. Replica Speedster. Quite a few Alvises here today. There's one driving in. We'll go and have a look at the vintage Alvis parking area after finishing this particular bit here. We've got MG, they're a race or rally prepared MGB, and on the end, well, a little replica Porsche Speedster. Let's head back in the direction of the control tower past the little midget and the Ferrari, Hillman Imp, P6 Rover, work in progress. One of the earlier cars, that's a 1966 registered car. MX-5, one of the Bauer converted 3 Series BMWs, the convertible version before BMW did their own version. E-Type 2+2, XJ-SC. So before Jaguar introduced the proper full-on convertible, they brought out this, the SC, which still had the fixed roof bar over the top, a bit like a Triumph Stag, but you could actually remove the roof. So this was a bit of a halfway house until such time as the full XJS convertible was ready to go on sale. This would be about 1986 or 87, something like that. Okay, let's carry on walking down here. Certainly get some exercise at these events. Porsche MG Midget, another Aston V8 over the back over there, very nice too. Lovely MGB GT in the very fetching shade of pale green metallic, very similar to the Works Racing Aston Martins in the 1950s. This one's been slightly upgraded. Usually where the regular seams are here, where the wings join, looks like they've all been, I don't know, leaded or filled over, blended in, so you've got a much sort of smoother shape. They'd usually be, and along here as well. You'd usually have a seam running along there as well, but this has all been beautifully blended in. So at first glance you think it's another MGB, but actually this one has had a lot of thoughtful, subtle modifications. I like the little racing style fuel filler as well, but the way they've been blended in, I just think that looks really, really well. It's such a subtle difference, but it really makes it so much sleeker. The way that join has just been beautifully blended over, because normally you see a bit of beading along there where the separate wing joins the rear panel, but that looks really nice. And again at the front here, it's been done very similar to something like, say, the P1800S Volvos. They're very similar to this, a very swoopy front wing coming up, and it all sort of blends into the front scuttle area with no visible join, just like this one here. So that's really, really neat. In fact, for comparison, we've got a 67 MGB GT here, and you can see the joins that I was talking about. Those are the regular joins that every GT I've ever seen before has had, and that is what has been blended in on this example. And again, you've got the seam here along the top where the wing joins the rear panel. I do like that colour, and it's great to see it be on the early steel wheels as well. So many of them you see have been re-wheeled, loads of them on wire wheels and alloy wheels, but every now and again it's great to see instead of the old circle hole or oval holed steel wheels. Very, very nice. Let's continue our ramble down here, next past the jet black limited edition version of a Mini Porsche 944. Got a nice 123 Mercedes over there, TR, another SL, Alfa Romeo Spider, Datsun Z car with an XK150 alongside that. So that's the 150 fixed head coupe. Very bonny little 2CV over here. Range Rover, various old cars down there. A beautiful early midget here. I say early because it's still got the lift out side screens. They haven't got wind up windows as yet, and the door handle is on the inside, so you have to poke your hand in there somewhere. There we go. To open the door, you've got no exterior door handles, and the top of the door sort of curves up, wraps up and curves around, and you'd put your clip in your side screens in there. No winding windows yet for this particular car. TR4A. There we go. IRS, independent rear suspension. Quite keen to make a big deal of that because it was a big deal. Got another midget here. This is one of the round wheel arch cars, which they did for a little while because normally they'd be slightly squared off. Then they went to the round arches, and then they reverted back to the squared off arches. I think it was made the body shell a little bit more rigid. I think that was the reasoning behind that. A very neat little British sports car there. Talking of British sports cars, a Triumph Spitfire Mark III. This one's on a G plate. So these are the slightly reworked version of the 1296 Herald engine. Separate chassis, similar to the chassis of the Triumph Herald, but not quite the same. Because the sills on these are structural, whereas on the Herald the sills are just sort of screwed on. Yeah. Neat little car. One of these was the first cars I pieced back together when I was still at school. That was a Mark III Spitfire. Dad bought it for £25. And there's in many pieces, and the floors were rotten, the sills were rotten, the boot was rotten, bonnet was rotten, doors were rotten, windscreen surround was rotten, because these are unboltable. On the Mark 1 to the Mark III Spitfires you can actually remove the whole windscreen assembly, same as the TR4 and the 4A. So that was a bit of a baptism of fire, being given that car to get back on the road, but back on the road it did get in the late 1980s, and it's still around. I think it's been restored twice since I had it, and I keep meaning to pop down to Coventry and go and visit it again sometime. Is it a good idea to revisit it? I don't quite know. I had the option of buying it back a couple of years ago, but I thought maybe sometimes it's better just to keep these things as you remember them. Well, because we've got the MX-5 as well, we don't really need another little two-seater. Right. Let's just have a quick look at these two, because we haven't seen much pre-war carriage here yet. There are a load of Alvises over the other side near the control tower, so I definitely want to get over and see those. But look at this, a lovely little Morris 8 Series 1. So this will be about 1935 or 36. Great little Mini 95 pickup. But there's a car over here I want to see next to this 944 Cabriolet. The very rare SAAB Sonett, the V4 version of the SAAB Sonett. So this is a V4 Sonett. The earlier Sonnets were two-stroke powered, like the Saab saloons, if you like. But this has got the Ford V4 engine in it, the Ford of Cologne, Ford of Germany V4 engine. I think they were all left-hand drive. I'm not sure if these were ever actually sold here in this country, but that's a super rare car, fiberglass bodied. Very interesting little sporty Saab. You know, think of Saab in the 60s and 70s, and you usually think of the little curvy 96 saloons and the 95 estates, the little station wagons. But the SAAB Sonett, this was a properly rare little sports car, and you hardly ever see these in this country, hardly ever. Proper little Saab mud flaps as well, which we approve of, with a little aeroplane symbol on, because of course Saab was also an aircraft manufacturer, as well as building lorries and so on. But yeah, this Sonett is a proper little rarity. So pleased to see that here today. Looks like we've got a bit of an information sheet, so pause the video and have a read of this. SAAB Sonett 2 V4, model 97, imported, manufactured in Sweden 1967, imported into the UK from Connecticut, USA in 1997. Wow. What a treat to see such a rare little car here today at the Bicester Scramble. Quite a few American cars here as well. Got a Model B, a V8 hot rod here. But this is the car I wanted to have a proper look at. This incredible Model A Roadster. Two-seat with dicky seat in the back, or the rumble seat, as it would have been called back in its home market. Yeah. Left-hand drive, about 1930 I think. I think the earlier Model A's had a slightly narrower grille, but I could be wrong. We used to have a Model AA truck, the lorry version of one of these. Really dependable 4-cylinder engine. You got the fuel tank there, actually forms part of the scuttle, and you've got a gravity feed into the carburetor, which is just behind that bonnet panel there. This one looks very original indeed. Great old Shell aviation spirit can. Very nice too. Wow, look at that. A proper oily ragger. And there's the rumble seats in the back. Talking of oily rag, we've got this, a Chevrolet 3100 Surf Wagon. Fantastic. How cool is that? So the Chevy 3100, this would originally have had a big straight six overhead valve engine in it. I think this one has been re-engined. Looking at all that plumbing under there, things look very different under here. It has a supercharged engine in it. A Jaguar V8 supercharged, so that engine is out of the XJR. So that must bob along pretty well. 1952 according to the plate. In 1954 they went to the one-piece windscreen, but at this point in time these and the sister GMCs, they still had the split windscreen, which gives them quite a lot of character. This one's up for sale, 25 grand if you want it. Oh, yeah. Proper Beach Boys vibes going on with that one. California dreaming. Yeah, can't believe it's got a supercharged V8 in it. So if that was out of the XJR, that'd be the 4 litre. If it's out of the XKR sports car, that would be 4.2. So it's one or the other. But either way, Jaguar's supercharged engine. There's quite a few things you need to check if you're buying an XJR with that supercharged engine. I had one of these, and I did quite a few preventative jobs on it, such as the timing chain, the plastic tensioners would break up, that kind of thing. You've got things called the valley pipes underneath the supercharger. There's some coolant pipes that run underneath there, and they're prone to leaking. So that's a supercharger off job to fix those up. But yeah, what a bonkers looking vehicle that is. Right, let's carry on down here past the magnificent Model A and the Model B hot rod. Stingray here, bright yellow Stingray, and Jaguar XK140, the fixed head. So this was a replacement to the 120, but it's got a slightly different grille with thicker grille bars and big chunky bumpers on it, which the XK120 didn't have. As with the 120, you got the fixed head or the open top cars. This is the fixed head coupe. Mustang, fastback Mustang there, big old Cadillac there, 1977. Pontiac Trans Am, Dodge Challenger, who remembers Vanishing Point, in the film in the early 1970s. Hot rod here, I'm not quite sure what we're looking at here. Camaro SS ragtop, bright yellow Stingray, and an open top Mustang 289. Right, it's time for a bit of vintage car content now. We're getting close to some music, so I'll need to try and talk over that. Which is the age-old problem, of course. We're going to shows, but never mind. We've got a gorgeous Rolls Royce here. What a stunning car that is. What's the registration of this one? SC8968. Stunning Tourer. Look at the bodywork on that. What an incredible vehicle that is. I love the way the doors sort of come up and then it's squared off and goes over there. We've got this huge separate screen for the rear seat occupants. What a stunning machine that is. Right, I'll carry on round here. Jaguar. Looks like an SS100. Very swish indeed. Post-war, MGTD. And the maroon MGTD over here. And then this is a car I saw with Harley just after we got here. Much modified. Kind of Ford Model A, but there's many modifications going on here. This sort of panel here, grille guard type thing, this mesh grille guard, gives it a very different look at the front. And most of the mods appear to be here under the bonnet. It's usually Model A's, it's just a big 4-cylinder side valve engine, 3.3 litre usually. Well, there was a smaller version offered here in the UK, I think, for tax purposes, but most are 3.3 side valve, but this one is converted to overhead valve. Something Miller, some sort of conversion there. Multiple carburetors, a Zephyr manifold. So yeah, very different looking engine here. We've still got the old Ford timing pin This is very similar to the thingy that you find on like the Ford pop engine, that kind of thing. So when you're setting the ignition timing, you unbolt that and then you poke that end back in the hole there, and then you just turn the engine over and until it drops into a little detent in there, and that's when you know you can start setting your ignition timing. But yeah, very, very unusual car here. Looks like it's specially bodied. Much more legroom for the passenger. Oh, pretty wild looking body, boat tail. Fuel gauge actually on the tank itself, a bit like our old Dodge was. You've just got a mechanical gauge with a float underneath to tell you how much fuel you've got. Certainly never seen that before. Even the dashboard curves around towards the driver. Certainly a lot of thought's gone into this. And there's even a hinge. So there's a little piano. There's a little piano hinge there. So you can hinge the dash out. You can unbolt that nut, take that nut off over there, and it appears you can swing the dash out of the way, or at least half of it. So that's very unusual. And what's this magnificent Tourer here? Well, I can't see any badging, but this fluted header tank on the radiator tells us this is a Daimler. And in fact, if we're getting close, it has a Daimler branded Boyce motometer. This is the temperature gauge. So you've got a sensor that pokes straight down there, straight into the coolant in the header tank, and that tells you whether you're running too hot, too cool, or whatever. And it's visible, of course, from the driver's seat just back over there. Just have a bit of a peek in at the engine there. I know some of the early Daimlers were sleeve valve. Whether that's what we're looking at there, I'm not quite sure. You'll have to forgive my lack of specific Daimler knowledge, but either way, what a great old girl that is. Could be late teens, early 1920s, something like that. Yeah, we like that a lot. Next to it, a little Austin 7-box saloon. Motorcycles old and new, also here today at the Bicester Scramble. Got a Honda 554 and a Motor Guzzi alongside that. And these are shaft drive. We've got a big swinging arm there. I'm pretty sure these are shaft drive. Yep. No chain there. Yeah, so quite a special little bike that is. Got some fairly late bikes here. We've got a 70 Z750 Kawasaki. But I don't know much about motorbikes, so let's carry on and have a look at some of the other vintage cars which are just parked over there. Lovely little Alvis 1250. Very, very swish indeed. Beautiful old car that is, so popular in vintage events, VSCC events and so on. There's a huge turnout of vintage Alvises here today. Row after row of Alvis. I'll just have a quick scoot along here, just admire some of these venerable British motor cars. Yeah, lovely saloon there, isn't it? Quite an early car with the old carriage type door handles. Look at that, it's a very long door. It's only a 2-door, but quite a long car and very long doors, which makes it a little bit easier to get in the back, but beautiful. Old handles there. You've got the hare, the Alvis mascot. On top of the radiator, very original looking car, that one. Wasp met its maker thanks to this Alvis. We've got Alvis there, the Silver Eagle, slatted grille in front of the radiator there. And this looks a bit of a sporty number. Yeah, I like that a lot. Getting closer and closer to the speakers, so I think we'll just have to keep talking to speak over the music. But yeah, what a fine array of Alvises here today. Another 1250 Alvis saloon, window open so we can have a peer inside. Beautiful original seats, just look at the material, the old aged leather. Always worry that I'm going to stare someone straight in the face when I peer inside these cars, but no one's in here fortunately. But yeah, beautiful original trim. You just can't, you can't replicate that when you're retrimming a car. Yeah, just wonderful cars everywhere you look. Look at this Tourer, complete with this panel across here. So you've got a rear door on this side, but no front door, so the driver has to clamber across from the passenger side. So there are two doors over this side, on the curb side, on the pavement side, of course. So when you park up on the side of the road, you exit and enter from the safety of the pavement side. So it's only the rear passengers that have got a seat over on the offside. The driver has to slide across here. So what a beautiful little body that is. Very, very nice indeed. We've got 1250 there. A stunning saloon. I like that one. Complete with a little smoker's hatch on the top of the roof. Very, very nice fabric bodied saloon. Lovely car. I'll drop a coupe here with a bench seat. Just work our way along the row here. Another beautiful interior I can see here. So you've got all the old nickel plating, not chrome, just a slight golden hue to it. Which tells you it's nickel, a proper old nickel plating. But look at that seat. I'm a sucker for original seats and interiors. Just think what a life that's lived. If that seat could talk, what would it tell us about the early years of its life driving around the lanes and the byways of Great Britain? What a Bobby Dazzler. Right, let's carry on along here. So many beautifully turned out Alvises. What do we have here? Another fine Alvis 1250, I think. Beautiful polished aluminium coachwork. Oh, we've got a supplying dealer plate there. Walter and Turner, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide. Oh, so this one spent its early years presumably in Australia. I wonder if it was actually originally bodied over there, because quite often British cars were sent to Australia as a kit of parts and often bodied over there by local coach builders. If you imported a complete car from abroad, you were hit with huge import taxes, so the trick was to send a knockdown kit of parts minus most of the bodywork, and then a local coach builder would build the bodywork in Australia for the local market, depending on what someone wanted. Whether this is the original Australian body, I don't know, but right-hand drive Australian cars are right-hand drive, so yeah, that's got quite a history. It's a well-travelled Alvis, that one. Right, over here, another Alvis 1250. I've never seen so many Alvises together. Lovely, lovely Tourer here, fabric-bodied 4-seat Tourer. Very nice indeed. I'm sure that must be a treat to drive, as must all of these cars. Look at the different tails on them. Pointy tail, a lovely curved beetle back tail on that one. Yeah, lovely stuff. Red line 2-gallon fuel can. Let's just carry down here and have a quick look at the last of the Alvises in this particular corner here at Bicester. And this is nice. I do like the shape of that one. That's very nice indeed. Let's just get through here. And this one's showing off its engine. A mighty pair of SU carburetors on this one. A 1250 Valentine Special 1928, modelled on the first racing car Alvis, built to compete at Brooklands in 1923. 3 cars were made, one still survives today. Right, we're working our way away from the Alvis section. I've not even made it into the main show area yet. We've got another 3-litre CSL, a lightweight E9 coupe, MGB GT on a G plate, Mustang, Morris Minor convertible there, lovely little modified Porsche, and there's my phone going. Beautiful little Austin Healey Sprite, and I've got a feeling this will gain me a few more points in my I Spy Sports Cars book. Let me go and find it. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't let me down. I Spy Sports Cars, sixpence, number 32. It's got a Dello Trials car on the cover, but in here, the Austin Healey Sprite. Here we go. That's what we're looking at here. A quick little sports car built by BMC, the British Motor Corporation. As popular today as the sports Austin 7s were before the war. I Spy the oval grille. There we go. dropped bonnet and a noticeable feature, protruding high-set headlamps. Of course, there we go. So for spotting that, car number 7, the Austin Healey Sprite, that gains me another 20 points. So that's good news. Clearly someone has spotted one of these already in the 5th of May 1962 on Wheatfield Street. The previous owner, the original owner of this little book, filled that in. It appears to be someone called Christopher Bell. So yeah, so if Christopher's watching, I've got your old book here. But yeah, there we go, the Austin Healey Sprite Mark 1. Just working my way along here, and what's this lovely little Fiat Coupe here? That's a little rarity. What's the story with that one, I wonder? I've been joined by my youthful assistant, but yeah, what a beautiful little Fiat Coupe that is. Let's see if there's a bit of a clue as to which model we're looking at here. Let's just have a quick peer around the back at this shapely little 2-door coupe. Yep, Fiat 850 Sport. That's a lovely little car, isn't it? Nice one that, isn't it? It's really swish that, isn't it? Yeah. Lovely alloy wheels. Looks a bit Farina-ish, doesn't it? Yeah, lovely car. P6 V8, second one of those we've seen today. What else have we got? A DB5 over there. Interesting shade of purple. What a beautiful day we're having. The weather is fantastic for this final meet, or the main meet anyway, of 2023. I think there are probably still a few breakfast meets to take place here, but in terms of the main scrambles, and of course Flywheel earlier this year, this is the last of the real biggies. There's a Rover Turbo, the 220, the Tomcat I think these were called, an Alfa Sud, one of the later Alfa Suds, the bigger backlights and so on, the revised cars.
In the main show, there's a really interesting Alfa Romeo van.
Is there? Oh, Alfa van. Well, I haven't even made.
Pickup.
I don't know. I haven't made my way over there yet. Got a Rolls Royce Shadow one here. Very nice. I do prefer these. And look at this classic Renault moment. The Renault 16. What a nice little car that is. Left-hand drive on an S registration. So clearly it's been imported at some point in time. What a dainty little car that is. There's one of these rotting away in my great uncle's garage in mid Wales for years and years. He never got rid of anything. And there was one of these in the shed next to his house. I don't know what happened to it, presumably scrapped a few years ago, but yeah. That's a nice looking car. I like that. And of course we are quite partial to old Renaults. Now, the Mark II here. That's a 3.8 Alfa Romeo Spider. And a Bristol. An old 2-litre Bristol YJH3. Yeah. There's a bit of information. The 405 Drophead of 1956. Always appreciate seeing these information sheets because, yeah, it's always good to know the backstory. This is the last of 42 cars produced in 2-door drophead form. So the chassis was sent to Abbott's of Farnham for completion. 2-litre straight 6, producing 105 brake horsepower. Aluminium body over an ash frame. E-Type cooling its engine, the big straight 6 of course. Triple SU carburetors. It's very nice indeed. A Land Sprint drophead. Let's just have a quick scoot down here before we go back to the car and get some fresh batteries, because we're getting through a few batteries today already. We've only scratched the surface. Look at this Ford Ranchero pickup. That's quite the machine. At this point in time, pickups and commercial vehicles were getting more and more car-like all the time. So Chevrolet had the El Camino, Ford had the Ranchero. It's got a very sort of fleet side body where the body just continues all the way along the side, giving it quite a sleek look for the era. A V12, a Series 3 E-Type. MGB, lovely knock-on Dunlop wheels as well, very nice too. And the 5 Series BMW, the E28 MGR V8. Let's go and have a look at the Morris Minors hiding over here. It's another Elan, Lotus, MGB, TR4. Always like to see Morris Minors. There's an Alvis on a trailer behind me. Moggy Tourer, convertible, never remember which. A Mazda, Mercs, all sorts of different cars. Porsche Carrera, the Carrera 3 litre, much earlier. It's a 912 or 911. It's a 912, I bet. 1966. I'm sure that'll be a 912, even though there's no badge on it on the back anyway. There's 911 Targa. Another Citroen DS, left-hand drive. What an amazing car that is. Those in the lamps that steer, following the angle of the front wheels. A wild looking car that is. And a big old Peugeot, good grief. Which one's this? Is this the, let's have a look, 604? Look at the PEU registration, very appropriate. Yeah, Peugeot 604 GTI 1984. That's a rare survivor. Let's have a look at that. I bet there probably aren't too many of those even in France now, let alone here. Very handsome big saloon, twin pipes. Let's keep heading back towards the car, have a quick drink, fresh batteries, and then we'll head off over there between the main hangars, over the back where the smaller buildings are, and go and have a look, see what businesses have got their doors open today here at Bicester Heritage, because there's so much going on, I'm sure. Another E9 coupe version of the early 70s BMW. We had the E3 saloon. A friend of mine's dad had the 4-door saloon, the 3 litre S. But this was always the glamour car of the range, the E9 coupe. Various different engine sizes, 2.8, 3 litre. And some of the saloons you could get with a 3.3 and fuel injection as well. This is a 3 litre carburetted CS automatic. Next to a notchback Ford Mustang. Beautiful example that is. 911 GT3. Another E9 coupe, a CSL lightweight. God, good heavens. What a treat to see so many wonderful cars. Let me know in the comments which of these cars would be your choice. Which of these would you happily offer garage space to, given the opportunity and a lottery win? Maybe it'd be this Porsche here, or a 3 litre CSL over there. Maybe something vintage like the Alvises we've got parked up over there. Maybe something that you remember from your youth, such as this base model Morris Minor 1000, very original looking Moggy 1000, this one. Looks like mostly original paint as well. So maybe you'd go for a car that just is a nostalgia purchase because you remember them from back in the day. Perhaps it would be a family car you'd go for. What car, if any, would you buy regardless of budget? Would it be one of your regular Joes, such as this lovely little Moggy Minor? Or would it be something exotic, something vintage, maybe a commercial vehicle? There are cars for most tastes here today at Bicester. Testarossa there. Another one of the 400 series V12 Ferraris. So which one's this one? 400 to GT automatic V12, of course, front engine, as all proper Ferraris are.
Oh, you got the MP3 mid-roll?
A 356, a Speedster, possibly a replica, I would have thought by that point in time on the G, 1968. A stunning E-Type 4.2 fixed head coupe.
You hope you get thrown out, because otherwise you don't want to be in it. But I mean, even driving them every
Lovely Fraser Nash.
That doesn't sound like that car should. One person will have that big driver and nobody else knows.
2.8i Capri. We saw the 280 Brooklands before, and that's what the 280 was based on, the 2.8i, the V6 fuel injected car.
We did convoy up and back.
Now, where are we parked? There's that beautiful TR that we looked at before, and the MGB in very similar shade of pale blue. I'm looking for something yellow. Here we go, over here.
Is the VW camper? I've been.
Very nice, Lancia Delta Integrale here. It's just a really great atmosphere on a bright, sunny October day. Just the right temperature for walking around, admiring cars, old and new. What do we have over here? The Mercury Cougar.
And the airplane exposed.
Here's the boss of Bicester Heritage.
We always wonder maybe they.
Below a Bentley here. Wow, look at that. No EV motors in this. Wow, what a stunning bit of kit that is. The big supercharger hung out the front there. Right, we are actually amidst the many smaller buildings here at Bicester. The big hangars are behind us, so we're just going to have a bit of a mooch around and just see what gems we find, just parked all over the place. The way cars are just parked fairly informally, here, there and everywhere, just makes it such an enjoyable place to walk around. The old buildings, trees everywhere. And beautiful 1966 Chevys to look at. And of course, Big Dodge's claim to fame back in the post-war years was carrying a pre-war Grand Prix Alfa in the back of it. And what do we have here but an Alfa Romeo wagon? Oh, it's a Fiat. It is a Fiat Balilla.
Really nice.
Yeah. Isn't that stunning? But what a great little truck.
Somewhere around here, there's a front-wheel drive straight 8 Alvis.
Is there?
Somewhere around here. I can't remember where it was. That's worth looking at.
Yeah. I've never seen this before. What a great bit of kit that is.
Cool, isn't it? It's actually a proper Alfa as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is lovely.
A little Berliner, a little saloon, twin cam. Lancia Fulvia alongside that. This is almost Italian corner. Ford Model A Coupe has seen a few modifications. High-flying Frida. We've got the flathead V8 there. Cousin to the engine with our V8 Pilot, also with the distributor mounted right on the front there, and almost impossible to get at. Aluminium Edelbrock heads on this one. Next to this beautiful 911, We have a race prepared 2002 BMW, Bayerische Motorenwerke. It says across the top of the screen, hence BMW.
One of my friends went to walk.
I'm pretty sure one of those cars saw a press clip with
An XJR, the XJR version of the XJ40 saloon. These weren't supercharged. The later X300s and the X308 were supercharged, the XJRs, but the first XJRs of the XJ40s were just slightly modified. I don't even know if they were modified engine-wise. I think they're just modified in the suspension, and they had a bit of a body kit and different wheels and so on. But you'd have to wait until the 600 X300 came along if you really wanted a supercharged XJR.
Can you agree that that BMW 2002 plates to the side are dead cool?
Yeah.
Number plates to the side on the front is just cool.
And what have we got here? This looks like one of the MGC GTS's. It's got a V8 Rover engine in it. It's a tribute to the original MGC GTS race cars of the late 1960s.
That's cool.
That is neat.
Larry?
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure that goes very well indeed. Another cabrio version of the 2002. So you don't see one for ages, and two come along at once. SAAB 900 Turbo, 16 valve, 16S. Do like these body kits, 3-spoke wheels. These were really, really nice. 175 brake horsepower. I wouldn't mind one of these one day. I used to have an 8-valve 900 Turbo years and years ago. Dad had one of the very first 900 Turbos in 1979. It was a left-hand drive car. This is a 16-valve. You could get the 16-valve without the body kit, or you could get the 16S with the body kit and all the little add-ons. They're very purposeful cars, front-wheel drive. Really, really neat. 2-litre 4-cylinder engine. Yeah, that's pretty cool. A very yellow Marcos. Lovely dark blue Marcos behind that. A 230, is it?
That's probably the highest of the low spec one, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Let's carry on around here. Various cars hiding in the shade here. Cars old and new. Jaguar here. The TVR 350i, the Wedge TVR.
This copper is quite a tasty one.
Oh, look at this. This looks beautiful in its original aluminium, not been painted. Got a gaggle of Morris Minors over here. What do we have here? A Ford Cosworth engine in it.
460 brake, if I remember right. Have a look.
People have been modifying Morris Minors since they first came out. This was a 1958 Moggy originally. Full space frame chassis, Cosworth 2-litre turbo engine. Yes. Many, many modifications. I wonder what Alec Isigonis would have thought. Fuel cell in the back, next to a huge battery. Somewhat more original looking 2-door Moggy here.
Question is, which would you have?
I'd probably have the original one, I think, the Moggy Traveller.
See, I'd have the crazy one.
Daily Driver.
Oh, yeah, this one here is the Heritage Skills Club.
Oh, yeah. So this is the apprenticeship scheme here at Bicester.
They also had another car somewhere, I can't remember what it was.
1967 Moggy. A spare used head gasket on the front wing, of course. Someone's having fun with that one. Yeah. This head gasket's looking a little past its best now. Great old car. It's Jackie Stewart March here. Jackie Stewart, 3 times Formula 1 world champion, and he retired from racing in the early 1970s. Also raced for Tyrrell. I think the reason there are so many Alvises here today is it's the 100th anniversary of the Alvis 1250, an example of which we'll see here. And of course there were loads of them over near the control tower. Complete with cobwebs. Might not be able to see those, but try not to get in someone's photograph. We don't feature many veteran cars on the channel, but over here we've got the 1903 Vauxhall, perfect for the London to Brighton run. Talking of Vauxhalls, we've got a PA Velox. Not just any PA Velox, this is quite an early Velox. With the 3-piece rear screen. Later cars will have a wraparound 1-piece screen, but this is a fairly early one with the 3-piece arrangement. So you've got the centrepiece there, and these really neat little corner pieces here, which just look fantastic. The Vauxhall Viva GT, the GT, the sporty version of the HB Series Viva, 2-door. Let's have a look at the front of that Velox. What a treat to see that here today. Quite a gathering of Vauxhalls here, and the Vauxhall Calibra. And is this the Firenze, the sort of coupe version of the Viva? Is it the Magnum, the posh one?
That wrong as well.
Oh right, so it's the 2.3, the upmarket one, left-hand drive. The Peugeot 309, a little sporty little midget here, much modified.
Have a guess what it's for sale for without looking.
Oh, is it for sale, is it? I don't know. 28,000.
95.
£95,000. 6GRX, ex-works racing car built by the competitions department, raced by Rano Alton. Alright, so it's got the bit of history that explains the impressive price tag. I don't think we'll be buying that. Alright, 309, Peugeot. No. Another MGTD here. We appear to be approaching MG Corner. We've got an MGA Roadster. Yeah, it's a great setting for it, isn't it? The Midget 1500, another Roadster, another Midget.
I really like this.
Quite an
shape
early.
of them.
It's an early Midget again with the side screens.
I really like these. Is it the Mark II? I think they're a really sweet car, this shape.
Yeah. Again, it's the one with the side screens and the interior door handles.
It's a gorgeous little car.
They are very
like
neat. They are very, very neat indeed.
I really like it.
The MGTFs. What else have we got around here? MGB-GT. More fantastic old buildings. Busy here today, super popular event. It's very, very popular, and rightly so. This is a great way to spend a day.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Look at this hot rod here. 33 Ford.
Scary.
And by complete contrast, a little Proton triple valve. VW Scirocco, a Lotus Esprit, another classic SAAB 900 here, probably a 900i perhaps, maybe a turbo. Porsche, Mercedes 190e, and the Golf. If you like your classic Land Rovers, then you will be happy if you are here today. There's another wonderful Series 1 over here, just nestled in the shadow of the trees and this lovely hangar. We'll have a proper look around. Oh, there's a trio of aircraft up there. What have we got over here? Many different cars, several Porsches, a little Dino. Technically I don't think these were called Ferraris back in the day, they were always called Dinos. Named after Enzo Ferrari's son. Series 2 Roadster, Mercedes SL, pagoda roof with hardtop. And a magnificent 1939 Chevy. Look at this Chevrolet over here, done, looks like for sort of pan-country road rallies. The Peking to Paris sticker on there. So that gives you a clue as to how and why this car has been built up as it is. Racing driver Fangio, Juan Manuel Fangio, cut his teeth racing cars just like this in the early road rallies, back when these cars were still pretty common. So before he found fame and fortune, well, fame certainly, driving Grand Prix cars, these were the kind of cars that he was racing. Of course, back then, Grand Prix drivers, they used to drive anything they could get their hands on. What a great old girl that is. An Escort RS Turbo, Phase 1 or Series 1 Escort RS Turbo, about 1985. Another Alfa Romeo GTV, Mark 1 Golf GTI. This is Rally Corner over here. Hero, historic endurance rallying organisation there, based here at Bicester. And a stunning Martini liveried Delta Integrale. SS Jaguar.
Lovely trio of pre-warm SS Jaguars.
SS. Another SS 100 here, 3.5 litre. The SS Car Club badge. Fantastic. A bit more Land Rover action. Well, no, Land Rover and Austin Gypsy. Austin, the BMC rival. So Land Rover in many ways, although these were steel bodied, the Land Rovers were mainly aluminium bodied. So hence these used to rot away even quicker than the Land Rover, and they like to rot, especially the chassis. But yeah, this is the Austin Gypsy. You can clearly see what inspired the design of this particular car. And there it is, Land Rover, Aston Martin V8 alongside that. Mark 2 Jaguar, this is a very original car. I think this is one we saw when we came here earlier in the year. Very original. Love the old Butlins badge on the front there. But this is a beautifully original car. I remember ogling this one a few months ago. The Series 2 Silver Shadow.
This will probably be the car I take home.
So what's this, a Testarossa?
250 TR.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is quite a special looking machine, that is, isn't it? Good heavens. And over here, I feel we have another entrant for my I Spy book, so let's go and retrieve that, because I've got a feeling the Jaguar D-Type appears in there. Right, here we go then. So, I'm hoping to get a good score with this one. So, D-Type Jaguar, I Spy, the bulbous front wings. The oval air intake in the nose, a wraparound screen for the driver, yep, we've got that, and a finned headrest for him as well. Yep, so there's the fin on the back. Of course, not all D-types had the fins on the back, but yeah, there we go. So spotting this D-type today means that I will get an extra 30 points. I think that is the maximum you can get on any single car spot, so that's good news. Whether we'll see any of the Ferraris, amazing. Is there? Oh right, yeah. There we go. And there's the fin on the back. You can always tell a well rebodied D-type because the fin on the back isn't directly vertical. It sort of tilts a little bit. It probably doesn't show up on the camera. So this is a long nose D-type. They did the short nose D-types as well, but this is the real deal. This is a proper D-type.
Really.
Did it? Hardly saw this one running before. Yeah, what a cracker that is. Austin Healey 100S.
There's no 100 in.
No, that's a bit special, that is. And down here we have lovely TR3A. Behind this modern plastic, which we will scoot past rapidly, a lovely 1966 Chevy, fleet side Chevrolet.
So the motor shed cars.
There's that beautiful little Opel that we saw earlier in the year here, still here for sale.
Literally like a motor.
Yes. Yeah, it's a cross between a Ford Pop and a Renault Juvacatra, and
Yeah.
a bit of Austin 8. Yeah, it's a very bonny little car, that is. A Chrysler. We saw these here. Yeah, some mighty heavyweight American metal here. This lovely Austin 6. Some really beautiful pre-war cars here. Let's just have a quick look. Look at this Lincoln here. Wow, that's one imposing motor car.
This one's actually got a few bits of
Rolls Royce, a few other Americans up there. Let's go and have a quick peek inside the garage.
pretty cool shed.
Yeah. Left-hand drive. A stunning supercharged MG race car.
K's.
Wow. Yeah, probably, I don't know, K3 or... This is a kind of car that the Dodge trailer used to carry originally. A little MG in the corner here. And this. Yeah. Yes. I do like this big saloon here. I love this Sunbeam. This was here earlier in the year. It's been here a few months, I think. But that is one fantastic looking pre-war saloon. All these cars are here for sale in the motor shed. Got a couple of the coal scuttle fronted vintage Renaults there, the NNs I think. Look at that Riley single seat racer, very reminiscent of the old ERA race cars. Of course ERAs were based on Riley running gear, or at least the engines were. Morris Cooper S. Let's go around and have a look over the other side there. A few bits and bobs for sale.
That's Jack. I can't believe you just walked past that.
Eh?
I can't believe you just walked past that Jack.
Oh, that is quite the Jack, isn't it? Oh, the Weaver.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah, that is quite the Jack and a half, isn't it?
Logo.
Alvis there, 65 Alvis. Let's have a closer look at that Riley racer. Whew. Quite an unusual shape, because of course they didn't need the radiator grill on the front because the radiator is behind the engine, hence the slats there at the back end of the bonnet. You've got the filler caps on the top there.
Wouldn't this be great on the road?
Oh, it's a road car. Yes. Another Alvis, and over in the corner here, the Jowett Jupiter no less. Austin 7 Special, Ulster bodied special. This is on a postcard. I'm not quite sure what we're looking at here. Guessing it's some sort of American one-off racer of some description, but I'm not quite sure what. A couple of Austin 7s here. Another Turner. This is a third Turner we've seen today. I do like those Dunlop racing tyres. And various Austin 7 specials. Well, we've got 3 specials along here. And an Ulster, probably an Ulster replica here on the end. Although in the catalogue they're actually called the EA Sports. Austin only ever referred to these as the Austin 7 EA Sports. But yeah, they got the Ulster nickname and it kind of stuck. Another parking area. Oh, some beauties here. A Jensen Interceptor. Big Chrysler V8 engine hiding away under there. Most of the ones of these that you see have got many louvers in the bonnet, but this one hasn't got any louvers at all. But that's a big engine to keep cool. We'll go over here, stunning Lagonda alongside a Bentley. With a fantastic Bentley, a 3 litre I think. Look at this lovely little Austin 7 Chummy. How sweet is that? Wow, that's seen a life. Lovely little scuttle lamp Austin 7 Chummy. Later Chummies, the headlights move from the scuttle to the regular position alongside the radiator grille. But how nice is that? What a beautiful little Survivor. Next to that, a stunning Bristol. We saw one of these just a little bit earlier, a 2 litre Bristol, with these very distinctive little fins on the back. But yeah, isn't that Austin 7? Just a little cracker. Droop Snoot Forenza. Yeah. Ferrari. Lagonda. A 2 litre Lagonda, I think. Alpha GTV. E-Type Series 1. The Mark II fires up, the fruity sound of its XK straight 6, 3.8 litres. That does sound good. It's got the cutaway rear arches, just like those fitted by John Coombs, the tuning guru of the 1960s. Many of the Mark IIs have been retrofitted with those more cutaway rear spats now. Well, that's a lovely looking car and beautiful sounding car as well. Isn't that just gorgeous? Next to that, the Alfa Romeo Montreal, the V8. The Mark II's going. Pursued by a vintage Alvis 1250.
This is great. Orange.
Oh, the Montreal.
Yeah.
A bit
There's so
more.
many Alvises here.
There's more Alvises here. Dad will like this one, the left-hand drive Series 3 E-Type in Harvest Gold, same colour as his MGB GT. Got a Porsche 356 Coupe. Triumph here. Now which one's this? TR2 or TR3? Let's have a look around the front. It is a TR2. No grille on the TR2s. The TR3s had a very small grille and the 3As a much wider grille. But this is the original TR2. An S-Type Jaguar here. We saw this one driving around last time we were here. Nothing much along here. Well, there's a nice 911 just on the end I've just spotted. I'll just nip past this hulking great van and admire the beautiful 911.
Just sits the business.
And then it's this same TR model. It was asking like 60, 70,000 pounds.
The Citroen Traction Avant front wheel drive Citroën. That's an original left-hand drive French built car. They were also assembled in Slough, but there are a few detailed differences between the UK built cars and the French originals. Diesel Volvo clattering its way behind, so we'll just nip over here out of the way and go and admire this ripple bonnet Citroën 2CV. So what dates this? About late 1950s, 1960, somewhere around about there. Very distinctive crinkly corrugated bonnet, very reminiscent of the Citroën H vans, of course. Left-hand drive, very neat little vehicle. Seeing this Aston over here, I thought I was on for another 20 points, but sadly this is merely the Aston Martin DB4, because my little book only rewards a spotting of the DB4 GT, one of the very fastest British cars with a race-bred twin overhead camshaft engine. But sadly, this is just a regular DB4. What a shame. Still, I think I'll probably live with it. Look at this Lagonda, the wedgy Lagonda Aston Martin built. What a wild child that was. Plagued by unreliability. Back in the day, electronic dashboards which caused no end of headaches for Aston Martin garages back in the day.
Quite the setup, and here we've got a couple. Yeah, that's the first time I've seen that Bentley.
DB Volante. Look at this, a road registered pint-sized blower Bentley look-alike.
That's brilliant.
It's pretty neat, isn't it? Here's an interesting one, another SAAB, a two-stroke SAAB, but the long-nose version of the two-stroke SAAB. We saw a bull nose a month or two back at the, I think it was at the Eccleshall show, but this is the long nose, and then not long after this they shoehorned the V4 engine in. Hiding over here we have a swallow-bodied Austin 7, the Austin 7 Swallow. What a stunning little car that is.
Is it still the same engine?
Yeah, it's a regular engine. Yeah, bodied by the Swallow Coach Building Company, William Lyons and William Walmsley. They started out doing sidecars and then got into rebodying real cars, many standards, that kind of thing. And these, the Austin 7 Swallow, what a beautifully stylish little car. These are really beautifully finished. Various modified MGBs on the frontline development stand here at Bicester.
Still prototypes.
Yeah. Lovely little Triumph. Look at this Armstrong Siddeley over here.
There's something over there you want to have a look at.
Yeah, we'll work our way over there. So many Astons. Astons old and not so old. Is that the Virage? DBS V8. When these first came out they had the 6-cylinder Aston engine in. And I believe those are Cortina Mark II side light and indicator units, unless I'm much mistaken. And this glorious pre-war Triumph here. Is this the Vitesse? What an incredible looking car that is. Got an information board, we're out of trouble. Yep, it's a Triumph Vitesse 2 litre with flow-free saloon body. 1938, there's the blurb.
What a lovely engine.
This incredible car. Beautiful straight six engine there, twin SU carburetors, mighty twin fuel pump there, twin SU pump.
That looks lovely.
Look at that, the little knurled spin-on things to remove to top up the oil. I just love the quality and the engineering of so many of these pre-war cars. Got a spare set of plugs there just in case. What a beautiful car that is. Isn't that fantastic? And look at this Triumph Special. We saw this one here earlier this year, but I'm more than happy to look at it again. While we're here, let's just have a look at this green saloon. Is this a Gloria?
No, it isn't.
This could be a Gloria, I think.
There's Dolomite here earlier.
Yeah, there was a Dolomite, I think, wasn't there? But I think this is a Gloria.
That's where the Dolomite was actually.
I remember going to see one of these for sale years ago, and someone had grafted on the front end of a Riley RM. And it didn't actually look bad. And look at this Facel Vega Mud 56. What an incredible car that is, French with American power plants. I have a feeling this is going to be one of my longer videos, but as one of the last of the big shows we're going to get to this year, 2023, I hope you'll forgive me this one. Running on probably quite a long time, but I appreciate everyone who sticks with these longer uploads, even if you watch them in several goes, because there are just so many wonderful, wonderful cars here. It seems a shame to not show them. Riley's here, Lagonda over there. The Riley Sprite, I think this is. Another Ford Model A, this time a 4-seat, 4-door tourer. What would that be, about 1929, 1930, something like that? Look at this incredible racer. 2 Model A engines in it. How does that work?
Those Model A engines.
What a phenomenal thing it is, isn't it? Yeah. That's got the makings of a great car. Especially with that little exhaust. Not much in the way of silencing there. But yeah, fantastic. Quite a meaty looking 4-cylinder side valve engine. In fact, I think we're looking at a Model A engine.
I think this is actually how it is meant to be.
Yeah, this is a Model A engine, isn't it?
Because there was a recent sticker in 2023 at a speed trial in France.
Yeah, was it?
I think this is actually how it is.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? This is the finished
That's
article,
how I
isn't
drive
it? Yeah, definitely.
That was fun.
Actually, I think most of it is Ford, actually, isn't it? Because the wheels are Ford, the axles are Ford with those. It's just the radiator that's Peugeot, isn't it?
What does it count?
You've got the Ford front axle, transverse leaf spring. Yeah, so it's Model A, Model A, Model A engine, and a Peugeot Rad, which just happens to fit.
I really like that Ford there because it's like not too hot rodded.
Yeah, that is quite neat,
It's a
isn't
bit,
it?
obviously, but it's not too extreme.
This is a Bianchi, or Bianchi, one of the two. No front brakes on this, just a very, very hefty front axle. Brakes to the rear only. How much fun does that look? No windscreen, so goggles and flying hat are the order of the day with this beauty. Look at the mighty chain drive. And look at this Wolseley. How original is that? So what model have we got here? Wolseley 18.
That'd be good with a large exhaust.
Right, the RM, the Alfa Romeo 2000 GTV in white this time. Very, very nice indeed. What do we have here? Magnificent left-hand drive AC Ace. This one definitely wears its age on its sleeve, and why not?
It's brilliant, isn't it?
For some unfathomable reason, I find myself drawn back to this magnificent pre-war Wolseley saloon. Very, very original, a proper oily ragger. I can't imagine why I like this one. That's my kind of interior. Bet this rolls on quite nicely. Probably a great big straight six engine in there. It's got a lovely, lovely smell of old leather. There's just no mistaking that wonderful smell. Have you stuck your head in there, Hal? It's a proper smell, isn't it? Look at that seating. What a great old girl that is. A few little cosmetic gremlins, but never mind. It could be pre-war, it could be just post-war. It's the kind of car that the police would drive around in some of the post-war B movies that you see on Talking Pictures TV channel on Freeview. Well worth watching they are. Some of the plots are a little bit on the lightweight side, but some of the road scenes, the street scenes, the car chases in these films of the 40s and early 1950s are just something to behold and well worth the time spent watching them. Right, let's carry on over here. The Jaguar C-Type, or the XK120C, as it was known in the factory. That's the official name, but everyone called them C-Type. 356 Porsche, another Sunbeam Tiger, that one with hardtop. Roger Penske Chevrolet, mighty Stingray. A police car Sunbeam Tiger. Look at that bell on the front, there's the giveaway.
Oh, the dog's fine.
Wonder how many of these Sunbeam Tigers were used by the police. I can't imagine many. There's the all-important badging, Tiger V8. I don't think the window's open. But yeah, it's got a what looks like a non-factory calibrated speedometer in the middle there, that large central gauge there, and it's got the built-in radio, the officer's hat. Yeah. Yeah. What an interesting car that is. Your Nick Sunshine. You'd be doing well to escape one of these. Obviously, if the Crims back in the 1960s, they'd pick something like a Mark II Jaguar or an S-Type for the getaway vehicle. But would an S-Type get away from one of these?
I don't think so.
Probably not. You know, the Crims probably expected the boys in blue to be in, I don't know, a Ford Anglia or a Morris Minor or something like that.
Heartbeat style.
And yeah, you know, your typical Mark II Jag would easily get away from one of those, but would it get away from a Sunbeam Tiger? Possibly even a slightly tuned up Sunbeam Tiger. I probably doubt it. What a great car that is. So pleased to see that here today. A 911 or a 912 being restored. Bit of recommissioning work on this genuine long-nose Jaguar D-Type. Looks like a little, not the Lagonda, but the Rapier. The slightly smaller Lagondas, they're badged up as Rapier. I think this over here is possibly one of the very first Lotuses based on the old Ford Pop running gear, or the Ford 8 running gear. Modified front end. You can see the original Ford beam front axle at the bottom, but the springy arrangement is very non-standard. Originally there would have been a transverse leaf, a bit like the Model A, but yeah, this has got a very different setup at the front with small telescopic dampers either side. So this was conceived as a trials car which would be used on the road. Here's another make and model of Mercedes that we were looking at only recently, the Fintail. This is the W111 series Mercedes of the sort of late 50s, early 1960s. This is actually on the J plate. This is a very late example on the left, the J registration. But yeah, the W111 series, really nicely built, real quality car. Some of these were petrol, some were diesel. I wasn't interested in the diesel one, but a petrol one was a definite possibility. Goodness me, there's a very handsome Alfa Romeo for sale over here. No mention of a price. I think if you have to ask the price, you probably can't afford it. And I think that's probably the case. Well, it's definitely the case with this one. I don't think we'll be putting an offer in for this one anytime soon. Coach trip by Touring.
Stunning car, isn't it? This is one of my favourites.
Yeah, I can see why.
Lovely bike as well.
Moto Guzzi.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it is. I think I'll stick to cars. Yeah, what a swish Italian machine this is. Pre-war MG for sale here. It's an F-Type. It says F-Type 1932. I think that's the F-Type Magna, the 6-cylinder car. Isn't that nice? A 4-seater. Sustainable fuel, synthetic fuel for your classic car. Is this going to be the future of us running classic cars going into the future? I'd rather that than shoving an electric motor in any of my cars. So yeah, hope this goes well. Hiding away over here, we've got a fantastic two-tone Lotus Elite. That is a name that would be resurrected in the 1970s, but prior to that it applied to these beautiful little cars. Very similar in spirit to the SAAB Sonett that we saw before. It's this lovely Opel GT. Presumably a Westfield 11. Mercedes SL. I'm sure there'll be something we've missed today. Nice 205 at the back. And look at this 240Z. That's a bit of you, isn't it, Hull?
Yeah, I quite like that.
And the Giant Jupiter, the other one was in the building for sale. And here's one enjoying the sunshine here at Bicester Scramble. Type 35 Bugatti over here. What do we have here? The Alfa Romeo GTV. Is this the GTV6? It's left-hand drive. Some are a 4-pot, and some had the V6 in it. The GTV6, the 2.5. It's a pretty groovy car, but not as groovy as these over here. This fantastic little saloon and this Fiat stroke Alfa Romeo combo over here. Is that a BSA, a 3-wheeler? Look at that. Well, I could see you in that hole. Toyota MR2 Mark 1 down here. Another glorious Alvis over here. Let's go and have a quick look at this one. Beautiful little saloon V windscreen, midway through restoration. And what is this over here? Is this a Unipower? The Unipower GT mini-based car. Yep, U for Unipower. I'm pretty sure this is a Unipower. Yep. Race or rally prepared Riley 1.5.
Use signal.
Look at that. Wow. Look at this Talbot.
Petrol cans for sale, this guy.
Wow, look at that Talbot. That is incredible. What a phenomenal car, 1929 Talbot. Started out life as a Wayman 5-seater coupe. At some point was converted into this, a kind of a roadster pickup. What a wonderful thing that is.
Extra to be able to watch the.
So this is a Graham Brothers. Graham was the sort of the built alongside Dodge Brothers. So Dodge Brothers there were cars, Graham Brothers was the commercial versions. But yeah, this is virtually identical to the 24 Dodge that we used to have. The same front wings. I'm sure the engine is very similar too. This one's on coil ignition, ours was on magneto. Isn't that incredible?
Yes. Of course, to a point. To a point, but when you get, you know, those changes in the mail.
Two-door Cortina Mark II and a Crayford converted Cortina Mark II. Another Ford Model A here. An Austin, we've seen this one once or twice, haven't we? At Prescott and Loughton and places like that. Let's sneak down here. Looks like we've got a little Austin here. A little Austin 7 Ruby. Bit of a work in progress. Various motorcycles. MGs. Triumph here. And a beautiful Ripple Bonnet Citroen van. A little 2CV van. I forget what the model code was for these early Ripple Bonnet vans, but you can see what it is. Little grey Fergie there. Alvis over here, TC21 I think. What's this? There's a Citroen traction at the back there, but what is this we have here? I'm going to have to cheat and have a look at the badge. The Woods Gasoline Electric. Okay. It doesn't look electric to me. I'm saying that. We've got an engine here, and then some big electric motor here.
So these cars donated? Some of them are donated.
So that's an interesting machine. Complete with Villiers engine. The steering wheel looks like one out of a J40 pedal car. Built April 1947. Operated on the seafront at Morecambe. Good grief. Isn't that wonderful? Well, this is a bit of me. Mark 1 3.4 or 2.4 Jaguar Saloon. Yeah, that is the bee's knees. Yeah, 3.4 litre. What a machine. Louvered bonnets, painted wires. Yeah, that'll do me very, very nicely indeed. And a sliding steel sunroof. Yeah. That is just a proper car. Another one of those wild Lagondas of the 1970s. Certainly a brave decision to put these into production for such a small company like Aston Martin. Alright, well I think we've had a good wander around this area at Bicester, so I think we will head back towards the public parking area. We're going to have a drink back at the car and decide on a plan of action. Well, we're back in the public car park now and there are quite a few gaps. It's getting on for 2:30, but clearly a lot of people start heading home fairly early. I was just about to start going back towards the car myself, but then I spotted that silver car over there, and I'm not quite sure what it is, so I think we just need to go and have a quick look over there. It's a BMW Z1. And here we are, an ISO Rivolta no less. Wowzers, look at that. ISO Rivolta Varedo. Yeah. Wow, I almost missed this one. The Burble with the V8 Monaro. But yeah, look at that, ISO Rivolta. I better not walk onto the taxiway too far because there's a lovely bright yellow Triumph Vitesse. And back to the ISO. Wow, what a glamorous car that is. What an incredible looking car that is. while we're on the subject of glamorous GTs, what do we have here? We appear to have a Maserati, but which Maserati are we looking at here? Oh, couldn't be more 1970s that shape, could it? Let's cheat. The Maserati comes in. Wow, what an incredible looking car that is. It's a sort of motor show special. You know, that shape of car, it looks like one of those sort of one-off cars that pop up at motor shows and then disappear and they're never seen again. What an incredible looking car. Ooh, talking of incredible looking cars, look at this Alvis. Yeah, what a stunning bit of kit. Look at the shape of it. Maserati comes in. An XK150 leaving now. Datsun Z. Citroen Tractional. This is a right-hand drive slough built Tractional. You can tell it's right-hand drive, of course, but the chevrons on the grille on the slough built cars are behind the grille vanes, whereas on the French built cars the chevrons are on the outside. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. But what a glorious example that is. Just a few stragglers up here, the 2+2 E-Type. Series 2, beautiful Porsche up here. Lovely simple lines on these early cars. It's left-hand drive on an F plate. Very, very nice indeed. Classy and understated. So we've got a Stag, Delta Integrale, a 190E, the 2.3 16 valve. That's a bit special. That was a rival, if you like, to the M3 back in the day. Another BMW Z1 over there. I can't believe it. Two of them. A very nice MGB GT with opening roof. MGB Roadster, Porsche 928 S4. Yeah, two Z1s. That's mad. The Mini, the Riley RM of the early to mid 1950s.
I'll show you pictures where they hide the hangar.
Very handsome machines indeed. Do like those. Let's keep going. Say bye-bye to the Maserati. Look at this. An early Metro. An A-plate Metro. Wow, that's a rare survivor. Well, I think we've had a pretty good look around here today at the final Bicester Scramble of 2023. There have been some phenomenal cars here, vintage, classic, retro, modern classics, a bit of everything here today. I hope you've enjoyed this particular video. I know I've got a feeling it's going to be one of the longer videos here on the Old Classic Car channel, but I think you'll agree it was probably worth it. So thanks very much for sticking with this. Pretty long upload, many more videos to come. Please check out the rest of the channel if you're new to the Old Classic Car channel. I can just see an old Alvis leaving now. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.